President Trump needs to stop Senator Ted Cruz's momentum. Can he do it? Former White House press secretary for President George W. Bush, Ari Fleischer, has some advice for Donald Trump. Ari goes on the record from Dallas. Good evening, Ari.
Good evening, Greta.
Ari, Donald Trump, even though he got a political beating last night, he still is the front runner in the Republican Party. You have advice for him. What is your advice for him?
Well, number one, I think he could be the nominee of the party, and I want whoever our nominee is to win. And so I wrote him an open letter, and I suggested to him, number one, that he stop fighting with everybody and not be so nasty. What he's doing, in essence, Greta, is pushing away the people he needs to get over the 50% threshold. He's energized and locked up 35 to 40% of the country by being tough, or I should say the party, by being tough and being an outsider. But the high-hanging fruit, that which remains between 40% and 50%, he's repelling with his tweets about Heidi Cruz as being too tough, too hot, too often. He needs to be more policy-oriented, give some policy speeches, master facts, and tone it down, stop fighting with everyone.
You know, he gets a lot of criticism for, people say they don't know his policy, and frankly, whether you agree with him or not, I actually can go through the list. I know what he thinks about immigration, a wall. I know what he thinks about trade. I know what he thinks about health care. I know what he thinks about education, jobs. I actually know what he's going to do about it. He sees it through sort of a business construct, and it's not so much whether you agree with him or not, but it's actually, I don't think that's, I actually think he's done that part.
Well, he stepped on his own message. His rhetoric is so hot and his attacks are so severe that very few people hear his policy beyond build a wall and we lose to China, we lose to Japan. My advice to Donald Trump would be give 3 to 5 policy speeches focused uniquely on specific policies, energy policy, for example, and surprise people by going to, not full length, but some level of detail and substance. String together a few of those, and people will already think he's tough. He has a chance to make them also think he's thoughtful.
And do you think he can tone it down? I mean, to stop being what you say is nasty. Do you think he can do that?
Well, you know, I've worked for 3 congressmen, 1 senator, 1 president. Everybody has their own style, and they have to be the ones who decide these things. But for Donald Trump, he needs to be true to whom he is, a provocative outsider. But he has to be smart enough to stop fighting with everyone over everything and to be so nasty about it. His tweets about what Heidi Cruz looks like and he's going to spill the beans on her turns people off. It's exactly how you don't get to 50%. So, yeah, I do think, Greta, there are some things within his control. He can be true to himself, but tone it down a few notches. He'll still be many more notches above everybody else when it comes to being provocative. That's his style. But he should tone it down a few notches.
And I think his wife, Melania, has said that she's told him to do that, so maybe he needs to listen to her a little more. Anyway, Ari, thank you. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Greta.